welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host, your scary movie companion, the Prince of Horror himself, Mr. Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them ass cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. Hey, Ozark, how are you?
How am I? I will tell you how I am. I'll tell you how I am. I'll tell you how I am. My eyes are itchy as shit.
Itchy,
and it pisses
itchy.
me off. You wonder
yeah.
why? Because if you're not listening to this when it first comes out or recently when it came out, we are in the midst of spring up here in the Ohio Valley. And my allergies are kicking my ass. I never used to have allergies until like 6 years ago.
I had the opposite.
I don't know how that shit happens. I don't know how you develop them. I don't know what happens, but I got them. My eyes are itchy as shit. They're red, and I hate it.
When I was a boy, it used to get me.
But other than that, I'm doing okay.
Dude, I can't, I used to get, allergy-induced asthma in spring. It would be so bad. I would get so fucked up, and I haven't for, the last, 8 or 9 years, and I'm very appreciative of that. But, yeah, that shit's a bitch. It's not fun to deal with.
Nah, but it'll be over soon, because we only have, 2 weeks of spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out to my truck this morning, and it's right under a pine tree, and it was just fucking green.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, shit.
Just covered in pollen.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck.
These guys gotta go.
Yeah, I know. No shit.
They gotta go.
No shit. So what brings us here today? Mr. Christian Ramey, tell us about it, please.
Well, folks, this is a fun episode because it's a finale episode. It is the finale of the Jam It in Your Box Office season. That's right, we're not covering any movie, but we are recapping this wonderful season that we have. We have to crown a winner. The Spicy BO Award. The Spicy BO. The Spicy Box Office Award.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought that was appropriate.
Did you just make that up?
I thought of it earlier.
Okay. Would have been cooler if you just made it up on the spot. But I like the idea. I like how you think,
The trophy is like a golden deodorant, the Spicy BO Award. So that's whoever wins will receive which, the decade. And then we're just going to kind of dive into some of the, subcategories of the rating and see who did the best. So that's kind of fun. As you guys know, it was the 80s and 90s. That's what we were talking about. So I did kind of do some wonderful notes here.
Perfect.
I wrote down.
Because I didn't do anything.
Well, really, we've got 9 movies we covered this season, and I will say that we added Scream into the 90s. In order to do this season, there were a lot of decades where we had covered movies, or there were a lot of years within the 80s and 90s where we had already covered the best movie at the box office. For example, even A Nightmare on Elm Street is probably more on par for the biggest horror movie at the box office in '84. But Ghostbusters has horror in its subtitle, and we have to include that. That's if you have horror in your title of description, it doesn't have to be the front one, doesn't have to be the last one. It could be any one of them. But if there's horror in there, you're probably going to get covered. So that's how a movie like Beetlejuice or something like Clue could be discussed. Now, we did do quite a few of these. We jumped into a lot, but in order to make the season work, we had to pick one that we already covered. So we threw Scream in, and that was 1996, because 1986 was Poltergeist 2, and that was the best movie left for us to cover that would have worked. And I said, well, Scream is a great movie that people love, so it does come through crashing some waves, all right? It is a big help for the 90s.
Well, look, it's all in fairness. I think it's very fair.
Yeah, it is the box office best of the 90s.
It fits the criteria.
It's not a lie, and we've already covered it, so we've rated it.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can go listen to that episode if you want to hear us cover it.
I did.
I did.
Yeah, I had to.
Oh, man.
All right. So let's start from the top of the 80s, work our way down, and see what we had here. All right. So, well, actually, let's go side by side here. Let's look at the battles. So, first, we had 1983. The number one movie at the box office in 1983 was Jaws 3D. I think it was a historical low rating for this show at 2.5 out of 10 points. All right? 2.5 out of 10 points. Didn't do well.
No.
Didn't fare well.
No, it didn't.
Didn't fare well. But it did battle a movie that wasn't a cinematic masterpiece, but the special effects and fear of the character kind of amplified. I don't want to say amplified, because not even the fear that did that well, because the casting wasn't horrible. But in 1993, Jason Goes to Hell was the number one at the box office. And that was a 5.5 out of 10. Not necessarily the best movie in the world, but enough special effects, enough casting, just worked well.
That's a common rating on this show. Middle of the road, which is not bad.
So, Jaws 3D did not win. Did not win that round. So we got to give this first round to the 90s. All right?
Okay.
Next, we're moving in to the Ghostbusters of 1984. Okay, now folks, we do change the rating a little bit, whereas we have a fear category that's worth 3 points for normal horror movies. For a horror comedy, we split it in half. 1.5 points for fear, 1.5 points for laughs, because that's just how it works. So we incorporated that into the Ghostbusters, and that left it with a 6.5 out of 10 rating after we pulled it through. Not a movie in general. It's a 10 out of 10. 2 thumbs up movie. Love it. But as a horror movie, it just rated as a 6.5 out of 10. But it did stir the pot as a kid. People, for Ghostbusters, fucked some kids up when they were little, especially when you worked into the second one. So, 6.5 out of 10 for GB. We go to 1994. The number one movie at the box office was Interview with the Vampire. All right? Interview with the Vampire. It was close because it was a great film, a lot of great casting, but it wasn't that scary. It wasn't that over the top with the kills. Beautiful movie. Love it. Little Tom Cruise. All right? Yeah, little Brad Pitts, little Bart Pitts. And then then you had Kirsten Dunst. I mean, that was a great movie. But Ghostbusters beats it by a hair because Interview with the Vampire rated 6 out of 10, whereas Ghostbusters was 6.5.
That was a close one.
Yep. This one is going to go to the 80s. The 80s took 84. And honestly, even if we put Elm Street in that place instead, Elm Street would have mopped Interview with the Vampire as a horror movie. So 84, 94, horror wins in the 80s.
All right. It's 1-1. It's a tight race.
The next year, or the 11th year later, as I should say.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
You lost me.
Yeah. All right, 1985. Number one horror movie at the box office. Fraught Night.
Fright Night.
Fraught Night was
Fright
awfully
Night.
scary.
It was super scary.
Oh, God.
The vampires next door.
So, Fright Night, just like the GB, just like the Ghostbusters, got a 6.5 out of 10. Great casting, decent kills, little scary, not all the way scary, but 6.5 out of 10. It's a solid horror flick, one of the best within the genre.
Oh, yes.
Well, that had to go against the 1995 number one movie at the box office, which was Species.
Species.
Yeah. Species is great because it was super 90s. It fit in the 1990s. Just has that taste, but great casting. Incredible casting. Some decent special effects, too. Some H.R. Geiger. Good stuff. Same thing as the year before. 1995 scores a 6 out of 10. So the 80s win again by 0.5 point.
Wow, I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yep, 0.5 point.
Wow.
0.5 point.
This is a nail biter.
Here's where the heavyweight fight starts to come in.
Good. Let's get up the card here.
1986, number one horror movie at the box office with Poltergeist 2.
Gotcha.
The Other Side.
Yes.
How long?
Caroline.
Now, Poltergeist 2, great horror movie, but there's no deaths in it.
That's what fucks it.
Nobody dies. But it's true middle of the road at 5 out of 10.
That makes sense.
5 out of 10.
That makes sense.
Great movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark always reiterates all the time, but this doesn't mean a movie is good or bad. If we had some beers, we were outside by a fire, you're like, I'm going to throw Jaws 3D on the projector. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, throw that bitch on.
This is a 2.5 moment. That's what we need. I don't need an 8 right now.
Yeah.
I don't need a 6. I need a 2.5 for this situation.
Yeah, life throws all kinds of funny, predicaments at you, and you just need different things. And
Yes.
so we're trying to rate them fair. But Poltergeist 2, 5 out of 10, middle of the road. But it goes against our 1996 best at the box office, which is Scream.
Yeah, it's got no chance.
Scream was a 9 out of 10.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were a little more forgiving in our rating system, but truthfully, analyzing it hard, even after watching it, I agree. So casting is a 3.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Kills, we went 3, and I was thinking. And then as we went through, we said, well, she gets brutally killed in the beginning, hung from a tree with her guts hanging out. All right, we get the garage door scene. We get Kenny with his throat slit. The kitchen scene in general was just gnarly, like 2 kids stabbing each other and then like getting stabbed with the umbrella. A TV falls and kills Stu. Billy gets shot at blank range. Like there's a lot of fucking death. Henry Winkler gets stabbed. There's a lot of, maybe not a crazy variety. Maybe if we did it again today, maybe we would do like a 2 or 2.5. But even if, thinking about Scream, the way that those kills impacted, because the 90s, that was what kind of kicked off horror again for the 90s, because it was kind of in a lull in the early part. Not to say that there weren't good flicks, but it didn't know where it was going. And this new meta style, we wouldn't have all these others that did successful afterwards. And that was a brutal fucking movie. And there was blood beginning to end. And there were all different kinds of ways. Yep. There was TVs, umbrellas, guns, knives,
Mm-hmm.
So, and garage doors. So maybe the garage door is that kill. Like, I don't,
Could be.
So I'm not too analytic with that one, but I feel comfortable with that. And then same with Fear. Fear was a 2. And we went with Fear just because of the impact that movie had at that time frame, and people were terrified. I took it back to the 90s. I was like, this movie fucked people up big time because it was current and it was relevant, and that was the whole premise of the movie. It wasn't like the guy in the mask chasing after you, like the old hockey mask that people had grown accustomed to. It was something new and fresh, and people were like, yo!
Mm-hmm.
It was gripping.
Yes.
And they were afraid. So 9 out of 10 for Scream. That's definitely beating Poltergeist 2.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, and that's a big score to add to the card.
Yeah, it is.
It
is.
The Battle of the Eights were fun, though.
Oh, the Battle of the Eights.
Because we got some slasher legends here. We did. So we had 1988, number 1 horror movie at the box office, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Great movie, a lot of fun, but it's a 6 out of 10 once we run it through our horror movie rating. All right?
That surprises me. I am surprised because I don't remember any of these. It's like I'm listening for the first time, just like you guys are.
So casting, we went 1.5 on Elm Street 4. Okay, kills were 2.5. We felt like it needed just one more to like edge it over.
Okay.
There was a lot of death throughout it, but there wasn't one to us where it felt like that was it. Fear was a 1 because Freddy was popular at that point. Obviously, we had rewatchability. Took us to 6. That went against 1998's Halloween H2O, and kind of a similar scorecard. The kills were down. That one got a 1.5 because it's kind of a tame Halloween, but it was a point up for Fear because it is Michael Myers, and for some reason he's just scary to people. Mm-hmm. He fucks with people. He has a fear built into him. So both of the 8s were 6 out of 10s.
Cool.
Yeah. So that leaves you wonder, who won, the 1980s or the 1990s?
Is that all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 90s just because of the Scream versus the 3D. I think the 3D fucked the 80s.
Out of a potential of 50 points, The 1980s scored 26.5 out of 50.
Mm-hmm.
The 1990s, 32.5 out of 50.
Ooh, that's a landslide.
So,
That's not even close.
when it comes to the horror movies that were number one at the box office, the 1990s gave us the more successful ones. Or it gave us the better, truer horror films. That's what it says, all right? Not talking in general between all of the 80s and all of the 90s, but the movies that succeeded the most. I mean, it's not, I'm sorry, Jaws 3D for 83, that hurt you. That hurt you. I didn't make that. I didn't make that happen, all right? I didn't make There Be No Kills in Poltergeist 2. I didn't do these things, but these are the things that were relevant, all right? And there's no way movies like an Evil Dead and things like that are going to be number one at the box office. And those are high raters.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yep. So
Keep that in mind, though. This is a box office. These are everybody movies, apparently.
running down the titles, you are correct with that. These are very approachable titles that a lot of people have seen. Like your parents may have seen Fright Night, and I wouldn't consider them junkies.
Oh no, they
of
love
horror.
Fright Night.
Exactly.
Sometimes I walk by my parents and they're like, "What movie are you doing this week?" It was Fright Night. And I was like, "Oh, I love that movie."
You hate it while you're watching it now.
That's a good one. No.
When me and her talking about Lost Boys for 10 minutes is one of my favorite memories.
She will always talk about Lost Boys, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Bring that up to her.
They were hot guys back then, dude. That's what she, they were like, get on my bike. She's like, oh, I'd be out of here in a minute. That's how what they all thought back then. Yeah. Take me, dangerous vampire man. Take me to your cave.
Feed me Chinese food.
Yeah, depending on what we're doing when we get back to the cave, that does sound interesting. I'll ride dirt bikes and shit. It'd be cool. We don't have work tomorrow? All right. How are we getting stuff? Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I might have to figure this out. Boss, don't fire me, but I need like 3 days. Just 3 fucking days to figure this whole thing out. And you never know. So, even though the 80s and the 90s won, let's jump into casting really quick, and let's just see who did the best for casting, all right? We're not necessarily, we don't have to go back and forth on decades here on who did better for casting, but we just want to see.
Just give me the total for each.
Well, our 3 out of 3s, we had a couple 3 out of 3s for casting.
Yep.
We had Ghostbusters, obviously. Interview with the Vampire.
Obviously.
Scream.
Obviously.
Species.
Obviously.
Fright Night.
Obviously. Great years for casting.
And Poltergeist 2.
Yeah.
So 1.5, like middle of the road for casting, that's where we get Elm Street 4, H2O, and Jason Goes to Hell. Our slashers kind of fit right in that 1.5 department.
Yeah.
And then the 0.5 point for Jaws 2.
It's like the runt of the bunch.
It is.
Nobody likes it. I like it. It's hilarious, but you know what I mean? He's like the kid you pick last in gym class. Mm-hmm. That's what Jaws 3D is.
Now, if we're going to jump into kills, and as I said, if we were to rate this again, I might give Scream a 2.5 on kills out of 3. But even if we did that, that would just make the score 32 out of 50, and the 90s would still win because I feel confident with everything else. But kills, we only had 1 3 out of 3 being Scream. So, but if you want to put it at 2.5, it fits in good category here with Elm Street 4 and Jason Goes to Hell. 1.5, we had H2O, Fright Night, and Interview with the Vampire. 0.5, excuse me, was Jaws 3D and Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, 1.5 for Species as well. And we did a 0 out of 3 for Poltergeist 2 just because there are literally no kills, like not even off screen. There's no murders, there's no death. So I just can't give you that,
Oh.
I
If
can't.
you don't meet the criteria, you can't get any points for it. If you don't write your name on the test, how are you gonna get credit? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
So for Fear, the highest rating we had was a 2 out of 3. And we went for H2O there because that movie, it still would scare people. There are a large group of people still afraid of Michael Myers. And if you put on a movie, they're going to be afraid of him. I don't know why. I don't make the rules there, but that's just how it works. He's that one. Jason, you could still find some, but it's Jason. And even though people know Michael Myers, he just has a palpable fear. Like if you put on a mask and walked around places, people would not like that. Not everybody would care, but some people really would not like that. Less so than if you were dressed in Freddy cosplay or Jason. It's Michael Myers. So he got a 2 out of 3. So did Scream. 1 out of 3 department, we have Fright Night, Poltergeist 2, Elm Street 4, and the half a point department, we had Jaws 3D, Ghostbusters, Jason Goes to Hell, Interview with a Vampire, and Species. So we've run down all the list there with the subcategories. I think all of them got the rewatchability there. They all did. So that's nice. That's nice.
Good. That's good.
I don't know if you guys enjoyed this little concept season, but I found it to be fun, and it's kind of an interesting deep dive. Helps me with my brain because now I would know these certain answers if that ever popped up. But it is interesting.
This was a very educational one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I feel like we can dive into a bunch of 80s and 90s horror movies, which we do, and compare them to each other. But something about the box office is interesting. And I think this kind of speaks for what movies were back then, too, for who went to the movies, what happened. The 90s, it was a lot cooler to go to the movies. A lot cooler. People went in the 80s, but it wasn't as, I have to see this next one as much. In the 90s, people had their own movies that they could watch, and they were anticipating. Like, I watched the one, a sequel's coming out, and you're just like, we just watched it at home, and now we're going to watch The Thing. Wasn't that much a thing early 80s. It was like, let's just go to the movies. I heard there was a new shark movie. We'll see what it's all about. It's not good. But that's just how it was. But it's kind of interesting to see the patterns there, and it was kind of a landslide, but at the same time, it wasn't like a 45 to 26. 32 and a half to 26 and a half. Not a huge spread there, so I like it. I like that. It was a fun concept, and we have a new season coming up. Wanted to bounce it off you, Mark.
Bounce it off me, baby.
And
that's a lot of ands.
Anteaters.
Anteaters.
Yeah. Whole season about anteaters. We're going to do first episode on Arthur.
Uh-huh.
I like that show. He didn't really look like an anteater.
No.
He looked like a little bear. Now, that's not what it's about. What it is
Was
about.
he an anteater?
Yeah.
You sure?
No, he's an aardvark. Yeah, he's an aardvark.
Yeah, he did not look like an anteater.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he an anteater? Or maybe he didn't look like an aardvark is what it is.
I don't know. He looked like a little fucking graham cracker, dude. Like a teddy bear cracker or some shit.
He did.
Like a golden bear's gummy thing. I don't know what those people were.
I don't know what the fuck those guys
I don't know
were.
what the fuck those guys were. But it's okay. He had a rabbit as a friend. So he was cool.
Help me out with the name here. Is it
For what?
Como te llamas? Como te llamas?
What does that mean? That means, what's your name, right?
That would be the name of the season, because this is a name season, folks. All right, we could either do that, the Como te llamas, or we can do the, think of something else. Name your price, or what's your name? There's all kinds of. We'll figure out the name of the season, but there are many horror movies.
What's the concept of the season?
Just covering movies where the movie title is someone's name, or someone's name is in the movie title. For example, Annabelle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Frederick versus Jason Lee.
The Say My Name season.
Say My Name. Okay.
Yeah. Say my name, say my name. 'Cause that's a song, right?
It is.
No, I don't like it. It's not funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Como te llamas?
I like the
I don't know.
Como te llamas. Como te llamas is fun.
It's just going to be fun to say every episode, and I don't know how to type that, so I got to figure out how to type that properly.
Or the Name Your Price.
So it doesn't make sense to me, though. It has name in it, but we're talking about financial things here, not somebody's name.
Okay.
Not somebody's name. ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Okay.
The ¿Cómo te llamas season. I think a lot of people are going to have fun saying that.
Or hello, my name is. That would be funny, too.
Hello, my name is.
You know, like the little tags where you write your,
Hello. Yeah.
And we could do that for each episode, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, make a
Name tag.
Yeah. But we got time to ponder on that. But the concept is what I like. Does that sound okay to you? Because there's Christine, there's Carrie, there's all kinds of
How
movies.
many episodes can you make with that?
I think we just do a 5-pack, maybe. Just a
5-pack,
little
you
5-pack here. Yeah.
5-pack? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We can, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know how many horror movies are people's names.
Oh,
off the top of your head.
You
know
could
that.
give me 20 and I'll find you 20. You know what I mean? We can get as deep in. I think 5 sounds good, but I always I like your concepts. We could do 3 names and then we could do 3 locations. All right, we can get spicy here.
Why don't you do a location, one for the other 5?
Ooh.
Still do a 10-episode stretch like we always do, but just make them 2 separate seasons.
Name and location.
Como te ASL. I like the Como te llamas and the ASL season.
I know, dude. When I first thought the Como te llamas, it cracked me up because I was like, I think it's something with name, what's your name? And then I was like, wait a second.
That's the only thing I remember from Spanish class too.
But you got to do one of those weird upside down question marks at the beginning of it. And then
don't they do that in Spanish anyway?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't read Spanish. I don't know.
I don't either. I just looked it up.
I look at the back of instructions for a second, and then I see it's in Spanish, and I flip it to the English.
I had the same thought you did, that I have to type this for the next however many weeks.
I got to figure out. I got to look it up and how to properly type it because we can't look like idiots here.
Yeah, just talking to your phone. Just type it out, please.
Type it out. Google search it.
Yeah.
Google will correct it. It's the answer machine.
But I like that because I do think, obviously, we will probably jump into some kind of heat summer season. Maybe summer season. Maybe something of that degree. Do a couple warm movies. Do
the hot as balls season.
Yep, I like that because that leads into fall, which, leads into spooky time.
Remember some fucking Practical Jokers episode? He's walking around with a pen. Joe he's like, how degrees would you say is as hot as balls? The guy's like, I don't know, 98 degrees. He's like, 98 degree balls. That's how hot balls is. It's hot as balls. If it's 98 degrees, it's hot as balls. I don't know what temperature your nuts are supposed to be. I'm going to look up the temperature
of testes.
The typical temperature of nuts, and I want you to guess. Let me see if I can get this. Typical.
I think they need to stay at 98, but they shrink or they grow to stay at that.
Should I put nuts or testicles in the search bar? I feel like if I put nuts, I'll go on. I think I got to use the medical term. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got it. We are doing Fahrenheit. So what do you think is the typical temperature or the ideal temperature of testicles?
98 degrees.
No, that's your body temperature.
96 degrees.
No, it is 93.2. Which makes sense because it's when it's real hot out, they hang low. And when it's cold, they shrivel up. They're trying to get to that ideal 93 degree temperature. Why is it 93.2 degrees, you ask? Well, it's because it's ideal for sperm production, is what Google says. So now we know.
I don't need
So now we know.
of those.
So when your balls feel comfortable, be like, I'm at a solid 93.2 degrees.
Just letting you guys know, my testes are coming in at 93 right now. So
I hope somebody
things
randomly that I don't care comes up to me and says, how you doing today? I was like, good. My nuts are at 93.2 degrees. I'm doing okay.
I'm taking it to a different rate. I want to go to one of those marathons with the runners and run up hey guys, oh yeah, got my stretches in this morning. Yeah, heart rate's right at about 60. Nut temperature right about 93. Testes, when testes are at 94, I tend to get a little jammed up. You guys know. What are you guys running at? 90, 92 or? I got a thermometer. I got a thermometer. Yeah, I can get you.
You can make it a drinking game. You could get one of those temperature guns, stand in a circle, whoever's closest, whoever's the furthest away from the ideal ball temperature has to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So play that next time you with your boys. It's not gay.
No.
It's not gay.
Just a little nut check.
Yeah. Everybody's got, you check your nuts all the time. I checked them twice since we've been talking.
Just a little nut check.
Got to adjust them.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're yours. You got responsibility for them.
93-degree bulls. That's interesting. You learn something new on the show every day.
You ever try to sit crisscross applesauce and kick yourself?
I can't do it anymore.
Oh, that's how you get that good sciatic stretch going, dude.
I can't. I'm not flexible, dude. I've never been able to touch my toes ever in my life. Ever. I've never been able to bend over and touch my toes. I get past the kneecaps. That's about as far as I go.
I'm not gonna plug the company name, but have you seen it's an app designed for stretching, and it works, like you could say like what your problem is, like I can't touch my toes or I can't move my neck this way or like whatever it may be, but like throughout time, like you're supposed to like gain.
Well, yeah, that's how you stretch. That's how you get flexibility. Is you slowly progress. The same thing with working out. That you slowly progress. I just don't do it.
That's that's one of the main things I do.
And it's well, that's good. I mean, the more flexible you are, the more better you feel, the more blood flow you got, the more your ability is to grow muscle and all that shit.
No, I feel like straight dog shit if I don't stretch. I think I got in such a routine of doing it that like when I don't, I feel like dog shit. And I'm not saying like I wake up in the first 30 minutes I do stretches. No, dude, I stretch all throughout my fucking day. Like all throughout my day. You know me, I'm all wiry all over the fucking place.
Man, you gotta warm your body up, dude. You gotta get that shit going.
And then I think like dad situations put you in situations where or just being grown man put you in situations where you're like not ideal for your body. Like you gotta like sit in this car for X amount of hours, or it's just like, oh, we're at a baseball game, we gotta carry these fucking 400 chairs and all this shit all over this. Who's carrying it? You are. Like you're the one, while your kid's on your back, or you're the one doing dumb shit to your body, regardless if you're working out or whatever. Men are just like you, or whoever, even ladies too. I'm just saying, like, you get to a point where you're like, you do certain things where you're like maybe in a car ride or you're sitting on a couch that's uncomfortable and you're like, yep, I know this is going to come back later. I'm going to feel this fucking later. I know it. I don't want to. But when I start to feel like that, that's when I'll start stretching, doing whatever. But like that's always kind of been my big, like when I look up to like fitness heroes, if I were to have one, it's like Bruce Lee's. Like I like the fucking like flexible, but like, you know what I mean? He was jacked, but he wasn't like Brock Lesnar jacked, you know, but that dude would beat some ass.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Like there's something
just
to that.
Fucking ripped, dude.
Oh, he was, bro. He had like a fucking 19 pack. I'm not saying you need the
Well,
abs
that's the
like
same
that.
thing. That's the difference. There's a video of like rock climbers. Like the rock climbers are extremely strong. Like their grip strength is ridiculous. Like they did a grip strength test with a rock climber, and it was just like a dude, me or you, size. He was fit, but he wasn't like crazy, and he went up against bodybuilders, huge ass fucking arms, like fucking arms the size of two of my legs and shit. And he had stronger grip strength than those motherfuckers.
Got that grandpa grip.
Oh yeah.
Why
are grandpa's grips so strong?
It's that arthritic fingers.
I
it's
guess,
like that rigor
dude.
mortis that
Or
can't
maybe
let go.
he's dead inside, so he doesn't feel pain. So he just
dragging you with me.
Yeah, it's like Down syndrome strength or something. It's just ridiculous.
Dude, insane strength.
Oh no.
Insane strength. All those, you know who else that applies for every time I see it? Like, you know, like at the Olympics, like when a swimmer takes their shirt off, it's not even like one muscle is glorified. You just see all of their muscles. It's not just one muscle that's glorified.
Well, I mean, swimming's like the best workout you could do. I mean, that's full body.
Yeah.
That's everything.
It's not even like, you know, like, because some people like really work hard on their abs, and that's like you can see that. And it's like, cool, man, you only eat salad. That's all right. You know, I'm not doing that.
You're nutritionally deficient if your abs are showing.
Yeah. Like, it's a lot easier to go for the cuts in your hips than it is the abs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's, you're in there like swimwear.
No,
with that.
abs are made in the kitchen, dude, and I like pizza, so fuck that shit.
Yeah.
They're there. They still do the job. Everybody has abs regardless, but I ain't fucking popping them out for your dumb ass.
No, you want abdominal strength. It's something that's like crazy to do. But at the same time, you can be, you know, in tone and shape. But I think a lot of times when people get out of shape, it's because they're not stretching well. It's where they carry it. Like, it's how they carry their body all day. It's like, dog, no, like, stand up straight.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude, the phones are going to make everybody like this, dude. There's going to be a whole... Chiropractors are in fucking full business ever since cell phones came out.
You got to get you one of them My Pillows.
My Pillow. How does that man sell everything so great for $19.95?
He's got a mustache.
I know, I trust him.
Yep.
Didn't he have something else? I think he had My Slippers or something. Or My Towel. He just keeps making shit.
Yeah, like,
he just keeps making shit and he just makes regular products.
You got all,
and puts My in front of it and then sells it. It's genius. I love it.
He got all crazy. Like, he got into, like, the politics and whatever, and some people were like, oh, I don't fuck with him because of XYZ. You know, he's in politics. And I'm like, is the pillow comfy? You know, I don't give a fuck about none of it. Did he beat women and children or touch kids? Because that's where I'm out. But if you're
It's so funny people do that. I don't like him because what he politics service. Like, do you like the person that just made your fast food cheeseburger? Because I'm pretty sure they did a lot worse shit than that motherfucker did.
Pull out most.
You know what I mean?
Pull out, like, I mean, whatever spectrum it may be. Like, no, I don't like them politically. Okay, well then pull out your favorite, like, sports athlete and ask them their political opinions. Bet you don't agree with those either.
Nope.
Go ask your grandpa. Bet you don't agree with him either. Like, who gives a fuck? Like. Who gives a shit? That's what makes it cool, is that we're all, like, we can have discourse when we can talk. It doesn't have to be this team, that team. You could just have a conversation. I really hope...
We're all on the same fucking team here.
I think that's what makes the country strong, man. I think that's cool. Like, you don't need everybody to, like, adapt to each other. Everybody be an individual. I should be able to sit in this room with a black dude who doesn't have to feel like he has to act white, and I don't have to act black. We could just hang out and be friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird to me. And I really think this year... A lot of people aren't going to bite the bait. I hope they don't. You know, like, not saying vote for whoever you want to. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying getting so pissed off where you feel like the world is ending. Just get off the internet. Just know that these people, everyone's trying to make you mad. Even if you're neutral, you don't care about nothing, they're going to try to find something to piss you off. Don't buy it, dude. Don't bite it in. I'm not saying... Do you find it a little ironic that it's the 4-year anniversary? We're coming up on the 4-year anniversary. How many years in between elections, by the way? Do you know?
What?
How many years are between elections?
4.
Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It is an election year, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's an election year. So
oh, boy. Can't
we're
wait for
coming
that.
up on the 4-year anniversary of George Floyd. And now we're having all this stuff going on at college campuses. Oh, isn't that weird? Every springtime, an election year, there's something crazy that happens.
They continue to fall for it. Everybody continues to fall for it, man, and it's sad. Not everybody, of course, but, like, so many people fall for it, and it's just...
Don't do it. I'm not saying there's not real issues out there, folks. Care about what you care about, but don't fall for the bullshit. They're doing this shit to make us all mad at each other.
I know.
Even people I don't like, I'm not going to be mean to you. Like, you know, they make it seem like everybody should hate each other. And no, watch some scary movies, man. Hang out, eat some pizza. Have some fun. And I, for one, enjoy diversity. I don't want people, like, I like having a wide variety of everybody. And I don't care. They could try to paint it like everybody hates each other. But for the most part, most people that work and do, you encounter all kinds of people. Yeah, I mean, it's the world, dude. Do you walk around fighting people every day? Do you walk around? No. Of course not, dude. There's people that'll irritate you, but it's like people that don't use their blinker. That doesn't have anything to do with what color or race or anything. It's your idiotic choices of how you live in your body. That's why I don't like you. You know, like, has nothing to do with nothing else.
It's well said. We're all on the same fucking team on this show, though.
That's right, baby. We're for everybody.
Sloppy Horror taking over the world.
Mm-hmm. The world empire.
Can you imagine Christian Ramey and his press conferences? They'd go for 3 hours.
Everybody, right now, America, I want you guys to pull out a joint. Everybody smoke it. And we're going to reflect. And we're just going to chill out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, fast food rates go up. Like, that's Amazon sales intensify.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, dude. Could you imagine how do you think people would react if Amazon was shut down for like 5 days, dude?
They better start opening up Kmart's and shit again.
Dude, people would lose their fucking minds.
I miss being able, like, you remember as a kid, your mom dragged you into, like, a Kmart or something? They had everything. You could just straight up disappear. Like, I'm going to go play them games, or, like, I'm going to go look at the fishing poles, and or whatever you wanted to. Now it's like, it's a sad electronics section, or it's a sad little...
Well, yeah, I miss being able to go and get something right away instead of waiting 5 to 6 business days for it to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you just want something right now. Sometimes I don't care if it's, hey, I want this, but it's convenient because, like, hey, I want this. Cool, it'll be here in 3-4 days. Cool, I can wait that long. But there's some things that you need fucking right now.
I'd spend an extra $5-10 on it to get it today.
Dude, and I do that. But what will piss me off is when if grocery stores ever become extinct, which I don't think they do. I don't think they will, because that's like something you need right away. You know what I mean? You can order groceries and shit, but I don't think it's going to go to that point where grocery stores are going to close down.
No, I hope individual, like, also back in the day, you know, if your watch broke, you went to a watch person. If your TV broke, you went to a TV repair guy. Like, there were individual shops and things like that, and hopefully we get into the industry of, like, making good stuff and, like, repairing it versus, like, just, like, the multiple disposal shit. There's so many people that could work, man. Like, the Walmarts and stuff did kind of kick a lot of the small shops out, and hopefully you see a lot more of that.
Well, it's just cheap products too, man. Mm-hmm. It's all cheap China shit from out of country shit. It's all cheap shit. Mm-hmm. And we want it because it's cheap. You want an American made thing, it's more.
You're right. If Americans made iPhones, dude, they'd cost you $10,000.
Oh fuck yeah.
They'd cost you $10,000.
I know.
$10,000.
Right.
Easy.
Hell yeah. Yes, it would. Well.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? And the ASL season are coming up to your ass in not next week because we're off, so deal with it. But next 2 weeks from now, we'll be back with a brand new season, with a brand new episode, with a brand new movie, and it's going to be fun. And the 90s gets to live and gets to enjoy its glaze because it won
the Spicy BO award.
It's enjoying the afterglow right now.
Good job, guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed the season, make sure that you guys let us know. If you guys like these YouTube videos, it helps us out big time. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube. Pull out your phone. All it takes is a YouTube account, which just needs an email address, completely for free. Goes a lot further than you think. Liking the videos, sharing, the ratings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, they go further than you guys think. Obviously, if you want to go further than that, you can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. Just put a new episode up. Mark moved a little bit away from me, but not crazy far. But we're throwing some pretty cool setups on how we're going to throw some new episodes together and how we're going to do it. But there is a new episode out. We plan to, just entertain y'all. That's what we do. We like to do that. So we need your guys' help with the likes, the subscriptions. All the free stuff helps, seriously, more so than you think. If you're watching it on YouTube, like the video if you like it. I know it's easy to forget because you're just like, well, I'm already watching the damn thing. Throw a like on there. Throw a comment. What that does to the algorithm, it just helps big time. So for all your guys' love and support, we thank you more than you know. And let us know, do you guys like the concept of that season? And obviously, if you ever have any ideas, write into the show, man. Let us know. All of our socials, we're pretty easily accessible. I mean, I'm not checking it every 5 minutes. I don't expect a 3-minute reply, but I'm definitely going to check it out, and I will see it. So we love y'all. Make sure to go pee afterwards. And
okay. All right. Goodbye. We'll see you next season, bitches.
bye.